Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing today. In this video, we're diving into the latest updates about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. You don't want to miss this. So make sure to stay tuned till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. For more than 3 decades, Studio 6A had been the beating heart of morning television, a place where laughter, stories, and the hum of daily routine blended into something comforting and familiar. And at the center of it all stood Kelly Ripa, luminous, quick-witted, and endlessly warm, the woman who had guided millions through their mornings for what felt like a lifetime. But on this morning, her final morning, the lights seemed softer, the stage felt quieter. Even the bustling crew, normally full of chatter, moved with a reverence that hadn't been there before. It was as if everyone already knew. Today would be the end of something irreplaceable. Kelly arrived earlier than usual. She wasn't sure why. Maybe she needed one last, private moment in the building she had practically grown up in. She paused at the entrance, breathing in the familiar scent of studio lights and freshly brewed coffee. Her heels clicked softly as she walked across the stage. She let her fingers graze the smooth top of the desk, the coffee mugs, the stack of cards she rarely needed. She smiled faintly. So many mornings, so many memories. She had changed here, as a host, as a wife, as a mother, as a person. This stage had witnessed her evolution, her tears, her triumphs, her struggles, and now it would witness her goodbye. The crew watched her silently. Some wiped tears when they thought she wasn't looking. After all, Kelly Ripa wasn't just a host, she was family. The show's executive producer, Jill, approached gently. "We're ready whenever you are." Kelly pressed a hand over her heart. "I'll try my best not to fall apart." Jill's voice cracked. "None of us are making promises today." When Kelly took her seat, she felt the weight of the moment settle onto her shoulders. The audience filed in, many longtime fans who had entered a lottery for a chance to be in the room for her final show. Some had been watching her since her very first week. Others had traveled across states just to say goodbye. Signs waved in the air. "We love you, Kelly. Thank you for the memories. Our mornings won't be the same." She swallowed hard. Then she heard footsteps behind her, the familiar rhythm she had known for over 28 years. Mark Consuelos walked onto the set, wearing a soft smile that didn't quite hide his emotion. They had shared a life together, both on and off camera, and today, he was there as her co-host, her partner, and the person who understood this moment better than anyone else ever could. "Ready?" he whispered. "No," she whispered back. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. The signature theme played, but this time, it carried the echo of finality. Mark kicked off with a smile, the way they always did, but his voice quivered just enough for viewers to notice. "Good morning, and welcome to this very special broadcast of Live, and I do mean special." The audience applauded lovingly. Kelly looked out at them, and something inside her cracked. She wasn't sure how to begin. She had rehearsed 1,000 versions of this goodbye, in the shower, in the car, while brushing her teeth, but none of them felt right once she was here. So she trusted her heart. "I never imagined this day would come," she began softly, her hands trembling slightly. "And I never imagined it would feel like this." The studio fell silent. She continued, "You have allowed me into your homes for over 30 years. You have watched my children grow up. You have seen me at my best, my worst, and everything in between. And somehow, you stayed with me anyway." Laughter rippled through the room, followed quickly by sniffles. Kelly smiled. "I don't know how to say goodbye to something that has been a part of my identity for so long. This show, it raised me." Mark took her hand, squeezing it gently. She squeezed back. They played a montage, moments spanning decades. Kelly's first day, awkward and bright-eyed. The arrival of Instagram, TikTok, viral dances, all of which she attempted with hilarious enthusiasm. Her comedic missteps, her touching interviews, her emotional tributes, her unwavering presence during national tragedies, her radiant joy when talking about her children, her dynamic chemistry with Mark, her morning monologues that felt like chats between friends. Kelly watched the screen with a hand over her mouth. Her eyes shimmered. When the montage ended, she whispered, "I forgot half those moments even happened." Mark chuckled. "You've lived a lot of mornings." "Too many," she teased, but her voice broke halfway through. The next segment featured surprise guests, Beloved co-hosts from years past, celebrities who had long become friends, staff members who had been with her since day one. Every appearance brought a new wave of emotion. Then, something unexpected happened. A small door at the side of the stage opened. Out walked her children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin. The audience gasped. Even Kelly gasped. She brought her hands to her face. "You guys," she whispered through tears, "you weren't supposed to be here until tonight." "We couldn't let Mom's last show happen without us," Michael said, giving her a tight hug. Lola held her hand. "You taught us how to be strong. But today, you don't have to be." Joaquin added, "We're really proud of you." Kelly sobbed openly. She held all three of them, her face buried against their shoulders. Mark placed an arm around the entire group, resting his cheek against Kelly's hair. He whispered, "You've done good, Kel." When the kids left the stage to sit in the front row, Kelly wiped her tears but failed miserably. The emotion was too strong. She turned to the camera. "If you're watching at home, thank you, and I mean that from the deepest part of my heart." Her voice quivered. "You let me be myself. You let me laugh. You let me cry. You let me grow. You let me live." Mark took over for a moment, sensing she needed time to breathe. He spoke about her dedication, her work ethic, her passion, her kindness. The audience applauded after nearly every sentence. Then came the moment no one was ready for, the final farewell. Kelly stood slowly. The camera tightened on her face. "Before I go," she said softly, "I want to leave you with this." She placed a hand over her heart. "Life is made up of mornings, thousands of them, millions of them. Most we forget, some we remember forever. I will remember these mornings with you for the rest of my life." Her voice broke completely. "You have been my constant, my comfort, my joy, and saying goodbye is the hardest thing I've ever done." A tear slipped down her cheek. She didn't wipe it away. "Thank you for letting me be a part of your life, and thank you for being the brightest part of mine." The crowd was already crying, the crew too. Even Mark struggled to keep his composure. Kelly looked around the studio, the lights, the cameras, the familiar faces. She took in every detail, engraving the moment into her memory. Then she whispered, "I love you." And the screen slowly faded to black. But just as it did, a soft voice, Mark's voice, was heard faintly. "We love you too, Kelly." The end credits rolled in silence. The world was left heartbroken. And yet, somehow, incredibly grateful. It was as if time had paused, suspended between what had been and what would never be again. The audience remained seated, tears streaking down faces, clutching tissues, holding hands with strangers who suddenly felt like family. Kelly stood quietly, her hands still over her heart, her breathing unsteady. She could hear someone softly crying behind the cameras. It was Luce, one of the lighting technicians who had been with her for 20 years. She had watched him become a father, mourn a parent, celebrate milestones. He wasn't just crew. None of them were. They were the fabric of her mornings. Mark stepped closer, wrapping an arm gently around her shoulders. "Still with me," he whispered. She let out a soft, breathy laugh, the kind you make when you're trying not to fall apart. Trying. Jill, the producer, approached with reddened eyes. "You did beautifully, Kel. Better than any of us could have imagined." Kelly pressed her forehead against Jill's. "Thank you for always knowing when to push me, and when to pull me back." Jill could barely nod. The studio audience began to rise then, slowly, respectfully. No cheering, no clapping at first, just the soft shuffle of people absorbing the moment. But gradually, like a wave forming, applause grew, gentle at first, then stronger, fuller, until the entire studio thundered with emotion. A standing ovation that went on and on and on. Kelly lifted her head, stunned. "Oh my God," she whispered. She covered her mouth with her hand as the applause washed over her. It was raw, heartfelt, overflowing with gratitude, not the celebratory applause of a show ending, but the kind people give to someone who has changed their lives. Her children stood at the front of the crowd, clapping through their tears, cheering their mother the way she had cheered them through every school play, every game, every challenge. Michael shouted, "Mom, take a bow." Lola laughed through sobs. "Or twirl, to one of your famous twirls." Kelly shook her head, smiling as tears streamed down her cheeks. "I don't twirl during emotional breakdowns." But, almost on instinct, she gave a tiny silly spin, just enough to make the audience laugh. Humor had always been her shield, her companion, even today. After the applause settled, she stepped toward the edge of the stage, reaching out to the fans closest to her. They reached back, holding her hands, some touching her arms, some whispering thank you, some unable to